Today we'll cover something that a lot of people need help with, and that is setting and achieving their goals. I've been setting and achieving goals for well over 20 years at this point, and it is my goal today to help distill these 20 years into this short little video. I have 5 secrets that I'll share with you that will help you achieve all your dreams. If you have any questions regarding this, please write me a comment below. And while you're at it, why don't you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. But first, let's cover why would you even want to set goals. Well, the fact of the matter is that every successful person on the planet, maybe even since the history of the human species, has set goals. So if you want to focus on just one little thing to do, then I would suggest that is to set some goals. Countless studies has also been done showing the benefits of setting goals. Let's talk a little bit about motivation, because this is very, very important. Most people misunderstand motivation. You know, you constantly hear, I couldn't get motivated, I didn't get X done, or I didn't feel like doing X. That is wrong. Motivation actually follows action, not the other way around. So to get motivation going, to sort of kickstart it, you gotta do. You gotta start doing, and then when you do, then motivation starts becoming second nature for you, and then things will get a lot easier. But in the beginning, if you wait on motivation to arrive magically, it might arrive the first day, but then after that it'll be gone. If you need motivation to get going, you are gonna fail. You're gonna have to get past that point and just accept the fact that there's gonna be days where you're not motivated. You just gotta do, and then motivation becomes easier. A little trick you can do too to sort of trick your weaker self is to lie to yourself. You can say, let's use the gym example. You can say, okay, well, I don't really feel like going, but I'm just gonna go to the gym and work out for 10 minutes, and then I can go home. And that works like crazy. I've used that 100 times, and I have never stayed in the gym 10 times. It's just once you're there, you start getting a little energy, you start going, and things become a lot easier. And it's the same with anything, whether it's sales calls or whatever. You just got to start doing, and once you do, you start feeling that motivation, it starts building up, and then things gets a lot easier after that. And since we're talking about motivation here, I kind of want to address habits a little bit. The more you do a certain habit, the more it gets more likely to do the same habit again. And the analogy I like to use for habits is it's kind of like a rope. So every time you do one action in alignment with this habit, you weave one more little string into the rope, right? So the more you do it, the stronger this rope will get. So any habit you had for your length of your life, that's going to be a pretty strong rope. And you cannot expect to just snip that in one day and then go on and it's all good. It just does not work like that. So you kind of have to nibble at it and sort of take this rope and put it over to this and start weaving a new rope or a new habit tree or whatever you want to call it. But every time you sort of do that, every time you do that right thing, you will make it more likely that you do the right thing again that you really want. Because at the end of the day, what we do, our habits, is just programming. So you just got to reprogram it. It's just not as easy with a computer as it is with a computer. You can just do a new program and run it. You kind of got to force your brain to run this new programming. But the more you run this new programming, the easier it will get to run this programming on a continual basis. And then always keep in mind that the best plan in the world is worth nothing unless you execute. A terrible plan executed well will beat a plan that's not executed at all any day of the week. So you got to do your planning, think what you want to do, but then you got to execute. If you plan this for 2 weeks and you never execute, that will do you no good whatsoever. But let's jump into the tricks. The first secret is you have to have very specific goals. If you don't have specific goals, how do you know if you achieved it? Let's say you want to say, well, I want to lose weight, or I want to make more money. Okay, you could lose weight, you could make more money, but you don't really necessarily know if you achieved that goal, right? Lose weight, you lose half a pound. If that's what you want to do, that's great, then you achieved it, but it's too loose. It's not properly defined. A better goal would be, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to increase our overall revenue by an additional $30,000 a month. Those are specific goals. You'll know that you achieved them exactly once you've lost 10 pounds or made the extra $30,000 in revenue. Secret number 2 is you got to write them down. Just keeping them in your mind is not good enough. A study done in 2015 showed that the people who wrote down their goals were 33% more likely in achieving them versus the people who did not. So write down those goals. Secret 3 is to make them sort of stretch. You want to have goals that are slightly unrealistic. I call them stretch goals. You don't want to make them too far stretched either, because then deep down you kind of know that they're unrealistic, you can't really do them, so you're already setting yourself up for failure for actually achieving them. But also, even if you can convince yourself that they're not unrealistic, you're very likely to start failing at some point in the process, probably early on, and you will just very quickly lose momentum and then go, I'm done, this doesn't work. So you got to make them stretch a little bit, you got to make them slightly unrealistic. If you make them too easy, you don't really, who cares? You don't really want to achieve them, right? So you got to make them stretch a bit, just sort of right. You got to practice this a little bit and figure out what's the right stretch. It's probably best to be conservative in the beginning because you want to build this habit of constantly hitting your goals. That's very, very important. But yeah, key part there is make them stretch. Secret number 4 is you got to have a due date. Saying that, I'm just going to lose 10 pounds, I want to increase my overall revenue by 30,000, it's not enough because you don't have a due date. Technically you could lose 10 pounds in 30 years, right? Would you consider that a success? Maybe. I personally wouldn't. So you want to have a due date. That's very, very important. So to use the goal examples that we previously covered, I would want to add a due date to that. I would say I want to lose 10 pounds by March 31st, 2020, or I want to increase our overall revenue by $30,000 by March 31st, 2020. That way you have a due date, you know specifically what you're looking for. You're looking to lose 10 pounds or increase your revenue by 30,000, and you know exactly when you're supposed to hit it. If you don't hit it, if you hit it June 15, you technically failed, although you could still say that's pretty awesome, but technically in terms of the goal, you failed. If you lose 5 pounds by March 31st, you failed. Right? You could be happy with losing 5 pounds, and that could be a huge achievement for you, and that's awesome, but you technically did not achieve that goal. So it really helps to have the specificity and then have the due date. It really sort of put a fire under your butt, so to say. It really keeps you going because you know exactly when you're going to hit it and what you need to hit. So before we cover this final secret, I just want to ask you if you're interested in potentially supercharging your goals. I have a couple of little secrets that I don't normally really share that greatly helps. The challenge with them, or the problem with them, is you really got to dig deep, and you're going to accept a couple of hard truths about yourself, and that sort of hurts, and it hurts. It's not cool, but it really, if you can accept and use these techniques, that's going to absolutely blow up your achievement. You're going to be doing so much better, but they are not easy. If you're interested in this, write me a comment below, and if enough people want this, then I'll absolutely make a video on it. Secret 5 here is, you got to share your goals. This one is a biggie. I've been doing this for a long time, and this absolutely works. When I learned this, it's one of these, like, you kind of, I don't really want to do this, because what if I fail? And that's exactly why you want to do it. You're effectively using what I call social leverage. So if you go out and you tell all your friends and your family, I would typically recommend you actually tell people you care about. You can post it on your Facebook or whatever, but most people have a lot of people on Facebook and they might not even see it. So it helps to tell people you actually care about, that you don't want to disappoint. So if you go out and you tell friends and family that you respect and you don't want to disappoint, that, I'm going to go out and do X. I'm going to go out and lose 10 pounds by March 31st, 2020. That puts a lot of motivation on yourself. You really don't want to be, when you're going to have times where you don't feel like going to the gym, or you don't feel like making that sales call, you're going to have that little voice in the back of your mind going, but you told everyone you're going to do this. If you don't do this, you're going to, if you fail this, I'm going to look like a chump. And you don't want that, right? I don't want that. Like, I like to think of myself as a man of my word. If I do something, if I say I do something, and I do it. And that is why this technique works. It puts a lot of pressure on you to commit. So when you have that little weak time, and you're going to have periods where you don't want to do it. It's just how it is. You can't expect to be fully motivated all the time. But for those little periods where you don't really want to do it, it's cold outside, or raining, or whatever, or you don't feel like making that sales call, you're going to have that voice in the back of your mind that goes, and that will push you. That will really help you to just say, okay, I got to go. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to make this sales call at least today. And that's why this works so well. I hope this was useful for you. If you have any questions, please write me a comment below, and thanks for watching.